try not to bobble this one, but if we do, we'll make the catch. So keep your wits about you and watch as we dive into every highlight. We will bring you the running catches and show you when it's in the hole. So make that great play right to your favorite spot. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And now we've got some good stuff to show everyone tonight.
Well, spring season is fully underway.
Yeah, and they're actually getting games in
almost.
for the most part.
One sport still waiting, but hopefully this week. This is the week, actually tonight. The boys and girls lacrosse teams scheduled to start the season tonight. So hopefully we'll have some results to talk about on the lacrosse end of things next week on Sports Night. But a lot of other stuff to talk about. We start with the baseball team. The Cardinals entered last week 2-0, and on Tuesday they hosted Totino Grace, also starting the season with back-to-back wins. Cardinals offense was big for them in the win over Maple Grove. Unfortunately, the Bants went cold against the Eagles. They had just 5 hits and came up just short in a low-scoring game. Totino Grace starts the scoring in the third. Bases loaded, 1 out. Quinn German grounds out to the right side, but Alex Stevens scores, and it's 1-0 Eagles. Alec Lehman had 3 no-hit innings, but gave up 7 walks and a second run. Scores on the wild pitch to the next batter. Stephen Hand to the plate. Cardinals trail 2-0. Same score in the bottom of the 6th. Kirby Peary with a drive to right over the head of Jack Eibensteiner. Kirby in easily with a 1-out double. He was 2 for 3 in the game. Braden Farley next at the dish, and he unloads another one towards Eibensteiner. Again, he tried to catch it over the shoulder, but comes up empty. Peary gets turned around, turns on the Jets. He scores, and it's 2-1. But that's as close as it would get. 1 out and 1 on in the 7th. Ryan Garlick hits it hard back to the mound. The Eagles go 1-6-3 on the double play and end the game a 2-1 final.
Yeah, tough loss for the Cardinals, Joe. I talked to Coach Mossy about it, and he said, we had so many situations that we just didn't get hits in. Key opportunities for them to win the ballgame. You talked about the fact they only had 5 hits. Well, Totino Grace only had 1 hit on the afternoon, and it was unfortunately for the Cardinals, they weren't able to get that run production that they've been actually experiencing most of the season.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you need it most, where does it go?
Well, the Cardinals were looking for a bounce-back game when they hit the road on Thursday to take on Iredale. The Knights were off to a slow start at 1-3 and coming off back-to-back losses where they had struggled offensively. Cardinals wanted to make sure to keep them down. Cardinals get going right away at the top of 1. Kirby Peary grounds it past the man at first. Xander Parr scores from third on the double. Irondale trying to answer in the home half, 2 on, but Braden Farley freezes Carter Jorgens for the punch-out to end the threat. Farley had 5 strong innings. Cardinals start to pull away in the second, 2 on and 1 out. Jack Orlikowski puts it to the right field corner. Nate Bream scores. After another run scored on the sacrifice, Ryan Garlick with a hot shot back through the box to bring Orlikowski home from third. 4-0 Coon Rapids after 2. Well, they put up another crooked number in the third. 2 runners in scoring position. Jackson Aurelius finds the hole on the left side. Peary and Jack Arndt will score to make it 6-0. Move to the 5th, 2 on, 2 out for Jack Orlikowski. Singles to right. Nate Breams is going to hustle home from second from the first run. They take advantage of an error for the second. Logan Rotzine with a grounder to third. Jorgensen fields and then hurries his throw, puts it in the dirt. Good heads-up running by Aurelius. He rounds third. Sees it gets away, it comes home easily to score 8-0 Coon Rapids. Into the top of the 7th, Kirby Peary with a scorcher up the middle, off the glove of Aiden Price at second. Rotzine scores easily. Peary slides in with a hustle double. The throw home is way off target, so Arndt can score as well. 1 more in the inning. Jimmy Brinda grounds it to third. The ball is booted away. 6th error on the day for Irondale. Lehman scores to make it 11-0 Cards, and that's the final as they improve to a 3-1 record.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest, and Irondale, one of the clubs toward the bottom part of the division and conference standings, but those are the games you have to win. It's lovely to see them get that kind of offense, but again, you want to see that spaced out a little bit better so that they can come up in those clutch situations to win games like the one against Totino.
Yeah, and again, they just went back to basics in practice after that loss to the Eagles. Said, we got to go back to what's been doing well for us, and that's scoring runs, and that's what they did. And a nice outing by Farley, obviously, gets them through 6 innings, and Brenda coming out and finishing it up at the end of that game.
Well, and the baseball team will be at Blaine on Tuesday. And Howie,
we'll be there.
They host Centennial on Thursday, and we'll hit the road for St. Louis Park, a little non-con action on Saturday afternoon. Softball team also opened the week hosting conference rival Totino Grace on Tuesday. The Cardinals and Eagles were both looking for their first win of the year and needing a spark on offense. Coon Rapids lost its opener 8-1 to Maple Grove, and Totino was 0-2 and had been outscored 21-2 in those 2 losses. Cardinals opened the scoring in the first, but the Eagles answer in the bottom of the second. Back-to-back singles with bases loaded gives them a 2-1 lead after an inning and a half. Cardinals even the score in the bottom of the third after a leadoff double by Meg Scheck. Elia Johnson singles through the right side. Scheck scores from second to tie it. Heads up running by Johnson as she gets in at second. She later scored on a wild pitch. Cards up 3-2 in the fourth. 2 on, nobody out. Abby Graham gets it down the line to right. Cameron Schmalzer is going to score. An RBI double puts 2 more in scoring position. Meg Scheck is up next, and she pounds it past the shortstop. Laum will score easily from third, then the self-sacrifice by Scheck. As you watch, she will bait the throw, come and get me, draw the attention. She'll give up the out to get another run home, and that's exactly what happens. 6-2 Cardinals after 4 innings. Same score into the 6th when the Eagles take flight. 2 on, nobody out, and Amaya Davis singles back up the middle. Carla Meyer scores the first run of a huge inning. First 5 batters of the inning reached base for Totino Grace in the 6th. Marie Schupanitz with a hot shot past third. That scores Davis from third. Eagles back within 1. 1 out for Sarah Waslow with 2 in scoring position. She sends it to deep to right over the head of Schmalzer. Eagles only able to score 1 run on the double, but the game is tied at 6. 2 batters later, Colleen Wareham unties it. Single into right, bobbled a bit. Schupanitz scores easily. Waslow will hustle home, make it a 6-run 6th inning. Eagles up 8-6 at that point. They add 1 more in the 7th for a 9-6 win.
It was a tough loss. Obviously, we were at that game, and it looked like Coon Rapids, after 4 innings with a 6-2 lead, had the opportunity to win that game, but unfortunately it fell apart for them. And, give credit, obviously, to Totino. They did good. They did well, had a big inning, and was able to tie it, and then eventually take the lead for good.
And the most interesting part is that big inning started how? On a pass ball, third strike that the leadoff runner got on base. They followed it with a couple of hits, put a walk in there as well, I think, and just took advantage, started hitting it where the Cardinals weren't, and the Cardinals just couldn't get the bats to go on offense to respond. Well, the softball team has a busy week. They will face. Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
Don't forget about the win.
Far ahead of myself. They did get their first win of the season, beating Irondale 8-3 on Thursday. Evan Newland, first home run of the season for the hot-hitting Cardinals. She went 2 for 4, a double and a round trip in those 2 hits. Hack was 1 for 2, Schmalzer 2 for 4. Drove 1 in, scored twice. Good numbers all around. Becca Mastler gets the win, goes the distance, 8 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts to get them to 1-2. Now we talk about their busy weekend, end of the week coming up.
They do.
They host Osseo on Wednesday, host Centennial on Thursday, and are at Blaine on Friday.
Yeah,
so
it's a busy week.
3 games, 3 days.
We'll be at the Centennial game, so we'll be able to get one of those games in for everybody to take a look at.
Tennis team had a couple of conference matches last week, starting on the road in Anoka on Tuesday. They lose to the Tornadoes 5-2. The first doubles team of Vu and Stein, that's Vu and Stein, Just in case you thought I was making one name out of
No,
the two.
I do.
But they get a win with a 7-5, 1-6, 6-3 victory. Johnson and Avery get the other win at second doubles in a tight game. Lose 6-7 in the first round, or his first set, come back and win 6-4, 6-4. Staples and Hammond were respectable in the third doubles match, and Hewitt lost in 3 sets at fourth singles. But the Cardinals come up short, losing 5-2.
Well, if Stein's partner was Frank, it'd be Frankenstein. So.
That's correct.
An even tougher opponent away to the Cardinals when they return to the pivot courts on Thursday. The Elk River Elks, always a contender in the conference and section, and they would give this young Cardinals lineup a big challenge early in the season. Coach Stork's team on a cool and windy day trying to keep pace with a strong Elk squad. They only won 1 game in the first and second singles spots combined. Got a little better at third. Captain Liam Speltz with effective work at the net on this point. He played well but lost 2-6, 2-6 the final. Junior Caden Carey playing at 4 singles, playing strong from the baseline, able to outlob his opponent for the point here. But unfortunately, Carey's going to lose this one 0-6, 2-6. Cardinals' top 2 doubles teams won on Tuesday, hoping to do the same against Elk River. Hung Vu and Noah Stein playing first doubles. Great teamwork on this point here. Vu with the point at the net, but they lose 3-6, 0-6. Second doubles, Aaron Johnson right in front of the camera. Good place to be for a point like this. He gets the Sportsnight highlight, but he and Derek Avery lose by a score of 1-6, 1-6. Nick Terabeza and Henry Staples have the closest match of the afternoon at third doubles. They're going to lose, unfortunately, 3-6, 2-6, and the Elks, a very strong team, they're going to sweep with a 7-0 win.
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup, especially early in the season for a young team. Elks are a program that seem to rebuild year after year. They have depth from first to fourth singles and from first to third doubles. Every year, it never seems to have much of a weak point in their lineup. But that's the teams you have to be able to step up your game against and be able to compete a little better with if you hope to earn respect in the Northwest Suburban.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goals you make at the beginning of the season. We want to be like an Elk River. We want to be successful like that program.
Well, the tennis team is at Maple Grove on Tuesday this week. They will end with back-to-back home games, hosting Blaine on Thursday, hosting Irondale on Friday. And Howie, on Friday?
We'll be there!
All right, there you go. Track and field teams had one event last week. It was a tri-meet in Anoka with Elk River there as well. The event was not scored, but I found this on Coach Denny Green's blog site that he has for his girls team. And I just want you to notice, these are the top girls in each of these events. Notice how incredibly close they are. Rachel Dieters and Ellen Everhart just 4 inches apart in their discus. Killian and Yeboah just 1 inch apart in their long jump. And look at Olivia Ellenbecker and Maddie Kieran. Identical times in the quarter mile of 1 minute, 9.77 seconds. Depth counts for something. We talk about it a lot with events like track and field. It's an individual sport, but if you score in numbers, it does better for the team. Yeah,
in some ways we see similar results in cross country running, where they're running in packs and keeping up with their teammates. A little different in track and field, but unfortunately, scoring in those kind of points gets you good team points.
Well, the track and field teams are at Eastridge for an invitational on Tuesday this week, and then the Bengal invite in Blaine is next week. Boys golf team did get their Bunker Hills Invitational in on Thursday last week. 32-team tournament. Cardinals threw up a 369. Heeman with the best round of the day in 83. Not too bad, just 11 over par. Jake Van Holzen 10 strokes behind him. Connor Wise had a 95. Roberstad shot a 98. And Klebeck came in with an even century 100. On Monday, today, first Northwest Suburban Conference event, and the Cardinals finish in 8th place at Keller. They were only able to get in 9 rounds as opposed to the regular 18 due to the weather, and it appears that not all of the teams in the Northwest Suburban made it. Usually there are 13 teams. They were not all in attendance for today's event. Carter Heeman, again, low score for the team with a 42, but Jake Van Holzen took some strokes off of his game and caught up with him. Also shot a 42. Connor Wise at 52. Drew Erickson at 53. Klebeck a 56, and Alec Erickson a 57.
Well, at least with the weather this week, too, they'll get a couple more opportunities to get some golf in and work on those scores. And, wouldn't you love to shoot a 42 through 9 holes? It'd be great. I would. I would, anyway.
The Cardinals are at North Fork on Thursday, weather permitting, and it should.
It should.
For hopefully a full Northwest Suburban Conference team. Then at Rush Creek next Monday. So the golf season starts fast and goes quick.
It really does, and obviously weather for for most of these sports, outdoor sports, weather is so important.
Well, the girls golf team was supposed to start the season with a tournament at Fox Hollow last Monday that was postponed. That meant the Cardinals' first competition of the year would be going head-to-head against the tough Centennial squad. Cardinals put up good numbers for the start of the schedule, but not quite enough to get past the Cougars. Annabeth Kalo played as well as anyone on the course on Tuesday. Cardinals junior tied Centennial's top player and finished as a co-medalist with a 45 in her opening round of the season. She was almost 10 strokes better than any of her teammates, but a lot of girls starting the year way ahead of where they were last year. Natalie Whitney putting in a nice round and finishing with a respectable 57. Cardinals junior co-captains both shot 81 in this matchup last year. Totally different story this spring. Caitlin Goldman took 27 strokes off of that score, posted a 54 against the Cougars on Tuesday. Catherine No's numbers not quite as impressive, but she shot a 60, 21 strokes better than last year. Fantastic way to start the season. I'll take that if you can take 21 strokes, almost a quarter of your strokes away from a year before. That's marvelous improvement in 12 months. Nicole Bissett was right there with her. Bissett was hitting big off the tee, looking good on approach as well. She walks this one up to a 5-foot putt. Bissett finished with a 60 on the day as well. Caitlin Severson, just a sophomore, rounded out the 6-player lineup on opening day. She finished with a 63. All respectable scores. The Cardinals lose to the Cougars 216 to 206.
You talk about improvement, and that's just really working on your game, during the off season. And you see a number of these athletes who have done that and been able to take strokes off their game.
Yeah, well, and both of the captains, when we talked to them for the preview last week, had talked about how much they worked over the summer and even through the winter in staying into the swing through the winter, getting into the simulator, and it's definitely showing right away. I mean, you take 21 and 27 strokes off the round you started with last year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, of all sports, I mean, obviously practice, but golf for sure is a game where you really have to put a lot of time in it to be good.
Well, a completely different lineup for the girls golf team when they participated in the Shamrock Invite on Thursday. A number of other athletes had academic priorities that had to be attended to. So what it did was give an opportunity for some of the younger girls to step up and show what they can do. Caitlin Severson showed the way she led the team with a 111, possibly sealing her spot in the varsity lineup for a good portion of this season. Wilson shot a 117, Shelton a 122, and Allen a 133 as a team, 8th place with a 483. They are at Champlain Park head-to-head over at Edinburgh on Tuesday of this week, and then the Purple Hawk Invitational is next Monday on today's 22nd, 29th.
Yeah, there you go.
My math works. As we talked about at the top of the show, the lacrosse teams have seen their start continue to be postponed. Hopefully both teams getting the season started tonight. The boys are hosting Maple Grove. They will be at Blaine on Wednesday and at Elk River on Friday. The girls team is at Maple Grove on Monday to start and will host the Blaine Bengals for their home opener on Wednesday, all of course weather permitting. Yeah,
looking forward to seeing the start of the season for both those teams. It'll be interesting. We talked about it last week with the boys who were off a season varsity level last year and coming back and really developing their team, and the girls' second-year program for Coach Swenson. It should be a lot of fun.
Well, I hope to get you some results and maybe even some video of those contests next week on Sportsnight, but that's going to do it for this edition. Here's a look at what we have coming up for you this week. Baseball against Blaine on Tuesday, Centennial softball on Thursday, and tennis against Irondale on Friday. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Say good night.